Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Roman.
And we're going to tell you how the Beatles changed America.
For better or for worse.
By coming to this great country
in 1964. Now, the Beatles were the world's best-selling musicians of all time, selling well over 1 billion records worldwide. If you don't know them, you live under a rock and should jump off of a bridge. Sorry about that, everybody. Don't commit suicide. I'll feel really bad. They also had the most amount of #1 albums on the UK charts ever, which was 15 to be more specific, and when they first appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, 73 million people watched them.
They were the only foreign musical group to make a hit like they did in the United States. A lot of people grew up loving the British Beatles, and they shifted a lot of the musical talent from the United States of America over to Britain. It was originally American musicians becoming popular in Britain. Nowadays, British musicians becoming popular in America. They also helped to share British and American social values, helped to make their culture somewhat one, and additionally it helped to increase relations with Britain and America furthermore than they had already become from their their alliance during World War II. Paul McCartney even referred to the American shift when he said this: "We started off imitating Elvis, Buddy Holly, Chuck Berry. We just copied what they did. John and I used to sag off school and go to my house or to his house and start trying to write songs like theirs. We'd put a Buddy Holly record on, and then after we'd listened to it several times, we'd sit around with our guitars and try and write something like him. The people we copied were all Americans, of course, because there were no good British. They were the good British. They were the first British group to make it big."
They also started this whole craze of the band or the group, as compared to earlier musicians who were mostly soloists, such as Elvis Presley. Instead of having a single singer frontman, you would see essentially the whole band in the public eye. It would be the singer, as well as the musicians, people who actually did the real work. Yeah, that seems to be about it.
Yeah, like Paul McCartney himself, John Lennon,
or George Harrison. Yeah,
George Harrison, Ringo Starr.
No.
Come on, he was the conductor on Thomas the Tank Engine. That's important.
Well, I'll give you that.
Alright. The Beatles also helped to make music a multi-million-dollar industry. People started to buy records in record numbers. And, like, for example, if fathers had found out that their daughters were going to marry a musician, that would have been a big no-no, because musicians were considered deadbeats and hacks. Nowadays, if a husband found out that their daughter was going to marry a musician, they would be very happy, because musicians make millions of dollars.
Well, they wouldn't be happy if it was like 50 Cent or Eminem.
Those guys aren't musicians.
That's a very, very excellent point. The Beatles were also the first pop group to have their lyrics in their actual albums. More specifically, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It allowed the listeners to really get into the music and sing along, instead of allowing the musicians to reach a certain apotheosis where they're not really people.
Let it be, let it be. Sorry.
Okay, someday maybe. The lyrics were happy, and it gave people an uplifting feeling to be able to sing along with these great musicians. It was really music for the proletariat.
The Beatles also started a trend of men having longer hair. Before the Beatles, only short hair was considered attractive. The mop tops on the Beatles, about my length, were considered to be long in their time, and when they came sporting this haircut to the United States, they sparked a new style where a lot of men like to have their hair longer, as can be seen in the do's worn by John Lennon or our buddy Roman over here. But thankfully, short hair is still considered attractive. The Beatles also helped to jumpstart the New Age movement. They had a personal Hindi guru named Maharishi Mahesh who helped them learn a technique known as transcendental meditation. This technique became very popular among spiritualists in the West and is still popular amongst New Agers to this day.
No wonder the Beatles were spiritualists. I mean, after all, they were bigger than Jesus Christ, as John Lennon stated himself. You know.
He did say that, but I wouldn't say bigger than Christ.
Well, he's bigger than Christ and he looks like Christ, so I think...
He does resemble Christ, I'll give you that.
Alright. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band was one of the first albums ever to come to America that really promoted the drug scene, and it really gave the Beatles their jumpstart as prophets of the drug culture. They did LSD often, and they once even tried... Excuse me a second. to legalize marijuana in London via ad in the newspaper.
Roman, drugs are bad for you.
Marijuana is bad, and it also has a very distinct smell.
Listen to Mr. Mackey, okay?
The Beatles promoted revolutionary overthrow of the government and many oh, no, no!
Bad Roman.
Many communist ideas, singing songs such as Revolution, like you say you want a revolution, and singing songs to Chairman Mao, a big communist figurehead of the time. John Lennon personally donated $5,000 to the Students for a Democratic Society, who were suspects in a major police case of bombings, more specifically, and were being chased at the time.
The Beatles changed musical style. Music was changed from the 50s more bluesy rock, such as, Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly, to the 60s harder rock that can be seen in the Beatles or bands such as Pink Floyd, all coming from England, as said before. Rock was much softer and laid back in the 50s, and in addition to the fact that these bands were all from Britain, like I said, this shows that an additional change the Beatles caused to American culture. They were the only group to have a song on all top 5 slots on the top 100 songs list. The song prior to I Wanna Hold Your Hand as number 1 was Dominique, sung by a French nun. Now, listen to this sound. As the Bible says, roll the clip.